What's happening, everybody? I am back and I have got such a fantastic recipe for you today. We're gonna make breadsticks, not just any breadsticks, those breadsticks that we all crave, like whenever you go to the Olive Garden or a similar kind of restaurant, you know, you get those nice little logs of buttery, salty, pillowy goodness. That's what we're gonna do here today. And it all starts with 3.5 cups of flour. To my flour, I'm gonna add about half a tablespoon of salt. I've also got 1 cup of warm water right here, and in my water I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of yeast. And if you have those, like those yeast packets, you know, those little envelopes, you don't have to worry about measuring it out because it comes out to roughly just under a tablespoon. So either 1 tablespoon of yeast if you have it in a big bag like I do, or 1 packet, 1 little envelope, you're good to go. The water has to be between 105 to 115 degrees, and that way you want the yeast to wake up, you want it to activate, and you want it to get really, really cozy and wake up and start feeding on all of that sugar, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it up a little bit, and we're gonna let that little cloudy cup come to a foam, and we know that it's gonna be ready to work. All right, this takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Whenever it's nice and foamy and frothy, we'll be back to add it into our flour. Our flour already has salt in it, so I'm just gonna get in with my fingers and mix it up just a little bit like this. Do you see the foam right here? That is the yeast. It is bubbly, it is porous, and it is awake for sure. I'm just gonna simply pour this sugary, yeasty water and get all of it in the bowl. So I'm not going to be afraid. You just have to kind of get in there because sometimes the sugar will settle at the bottom of the cup, and I want every last bit of goodness to go into these breadsticks. All right. So I'm going to start mixing it just a little bit, and I love using my hands, and that way I get a much better feel for the texture of the bread. So into this shaggy mess, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of olive oil. So it's going to be about half of what you see here. And it gives the dough just a really beautiful buttery richness. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna keep mixing this by hand until it starts to come together in one big cohesive ball of dough. So now I'm going to set the bowl aside and just go ahead and start working it on my countertop. Just kneading it until it comes together really, really smoothly. If I poke it right there, it starts to spring back just a little bit. This is exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm not seeing any kind of breaks in here. I'm not seeing any kind of lumps. It's just so smooth and it feels like silk. All right, so from here, I'm gonna take some olive oil and generously oil my bowl. I'm gonna take my bowl of dough, put it in the middle, give it a spin, flip it over, and spin that all around as well. So what this is doing is coating the entire ball of dough, but it's also coating the entire sides of the bowl as well. So 2 for 1, right? Be smart. Cover this up with a little bit of plastic wrap. And now we need to let this sit in a warm place for about 1.5 hours to watch it double in size. It's just gonna rise and puff up, and we're gonna have super fluffy breadsticks in almost no time. It's more than doubled, you can see it. It's quite beautiful. All right, now to finish it up, we're going to open this guy up, but save the plastic wrap because you're gonna need it here in just a little bit. I'm gonna simply pull it out of the bowl and turn it onto my countertop, just like that. Set you aside. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to divide it into about 12 equal pieces. I wanna try and get a dozen breadsticks. So here we go. I want to see if I can roll this out a little bit. There we go. And here. So I want to get 6 pieces out of here. And they don't have to be absolutely perfect. I mean, if you want to weigh them out, you certainly can. You're looking for roughly about 2 ounces in each breadstick, but I kind of like to go rustic. I love to eyeball it, you know? 12 nuggets. Now I'm going to roll them into 12 logs. This is probably about the same length as my bench scraper right there. So this is roughly about 6 inches, and this is all I'm looking for. I'm going to put it on my baking sheet right here. And just like washing your hair, wash, rinse, and repeat. So I'm going to keep rolling out breadstick logs. And I like having the bench scraper or something, you know, about the same size, the same length that I want to bake, so that way they're at least, you know, pretty uniform in length, which is always nice and helpful. All right, all of the sticks are now on the baking sheet here, and I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap and let it rise for an hour. And during that rise time, I'm going to preheat my oven to 425 degrees and get these guys ready to bake. So now that they're fresh out of the oven and super hot, we're going to dress them up. Get that buttery goodness all over each and every single breadstick. Watch how the butter just melts and runs right down each breadstick. You see? Woo! I'm gonna take a little bit of salt and just sprinkle from up top. Get that really beautiful salty goodness all over. There it is, yeah. And a tiny little sprinkle of granulated garlic as well. Just a little teeny tiny little dusting. That's it. All right. So there you have it, Copycat breadsticks from the Olive Garden, right? Or any of your favorite restaurants. I know they have bread that's very similar to this, but this is specifically for Olive Garden breadsticks. Look at that. All right. Yes, they are hot. Yes. Very hot, very fresh out of the oven, and so pillowy, soft, and delicious. Oh. This is gonna be perfect for sopping up that sauce. Your favorite pasta dish? Well worth it. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. So easy to make, so easy to do. Breadsticks, takes a little time, totally worth it, guys. Keisha Kitchen Bravo is back, and I've got you covered. Check it out. Let me know how these turn out for you. Catch me on Facebook, Instagram, Kitchen Bravo's everywhere.